Let's talk about the unexpected comfort of living outside your comfort zone. Hello, gals, and welcome to Sobriety Snippets, helping ambitious women drop the wine, trust themselves again, and run their life like they mean it in business, career, health, and everything in between. I'm Becca Jacobson. Welcome to Snippet Land. If you're new around here, I'm just so happy for you because really, truly, honestly, you've just discovered something that is life changing if you let it be. And Snippet Land, as I like to call it, is a whole ecosystem set up just for women like you, 40 plus, nailing everything in life except the alcohol. Oh dear. Gals, today I have a real treat for you. You're going to hear someone else's voice again other than mine. I had a chat recently with LA, although I have a bad habit of calling her Ellie with my North American accent. But LA came to me back in January, and she's been crushing it ever since. Although her journey, like most of ours, was not a straight line, not at all. But I'm going to let her tell her story. So hang on to your hats, gals. Here's a beautiful conversation I had recently with Ellie. So, Ellie, thank you for joining me on the show. I'm so honored that you're willing to share your journey with other women because the more women that hear about the changes that are possible when we get the help we need, the more women will step up and change their lives. So thank you for being here, Ellie.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Tell us where you're coming from.
Where I'm coming from in life or geographically?
Well, we can start with geographically and then we're going to talk about your life. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I was just curious, share with where you're coming from geographically.
I am in Brooklyn, New York. I am originally from Argentina, so maybe people will detect a bit of an accent. And I've lived in the States for 25 years, 24 years. And where I'm coming from into this snippet is I am coming from 3 months, I believe. Yeah, 3 months of a sober journey as part of an amazing group of women 40 plus who are all in this together, trying to grow and trying to lead a healthy, joyous life. I was previously, before meeting you and before getting into the Perspectives program, I had struggled with alcohol for about 20 years. And before that, I had struggled with an eating disorder for 10 years. So it's been 30 years of not really learning the right tools to cope with my suffering, with my pain, with just all the difficult emotions that we experience as human beings. So I was really just leaning on alcohol to give me that sense of relief from all these negative emotions, loneliness, a big one. And I had gotten to a point where I had already been looking into tools for maybe 10 years. And I had found a lot of really useful things that I could do to help myself. Read all the quit lit books you could think of. I think I have 3 shelves full of them. Everything that's out there, I just studied everything. Everything's highlighted, really trying to work on it on my own, which is kind of the tricky part, and still in a cycle of being able to be okay for a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, and then drinking more than I intended, sometimes being able to moderate, other times not, and just going into that spiral of regret and shame and hopelessness after a night of drinking too much, where I felt like I'm never going to be able to get over this. This is the one test in life that I guess I won't pass or I won't be able to overcome. And just looking for help in some way and starting to really accept the fact that I just wasn't able to do it on my own, even though I had also been in therapy for many years and all of those things.
That's the hard place to get to, isn't it? That I cannot do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's so common. And of course, I talk about it a lot. And it's interesting you mentioned therapy too. I was too. Why doesn't therapy work? Well, we don't need to answer that question, but it doesn't work for most of us for this particular problem. So tell us your specific story. How did you find me? That little journey there. Tell the story.
I found you through, I believe it was an ad on Facebook for a master class that you taught called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Drinking.
Right, I remember that one. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It was a free thing that I just literally clicked and signed up and got an email saying, "You're registered, show up this day at this time." And it will be live, which was amazing to know that you would be there in person. That made a big difference because a lot of time these things that you click on are just like a pre-recorded,
Yeah.
and
I
that just
don't do
feels
that.
like
I
more of
don't
the
do that.
same.
You did you hear me, everybody? I don't do that. It's live. Carry on, Ellie. Sorry for
It
interrupting.
just feels like more of the same. Like if I
Yeah,
wanted to, I can go on YouTube and find 1,000 things.
right.
But to know that you were going to be there live really made a big difference. And like I said, I had some tools, but something that I did intuitively know at this point is that I could not do this alone, and that it had a lot to do with the way that I had kind of wired my brain by now. It was just like the drinking was this automatic go-to response to try to ease the pain and the discomfort and the negative emotions. So I signed up for it, and the second I logged in, or everyone logged in, and I saw you and the other amazing ladies that were in there, it was a small group, which was great. And I immediately felt supported. Just being there, first I felt like, okay, I'm doing something, which always feels good when we're trying to help ourselves. Like, okay, I did something, so I'm already empowered. And
Yes.
then to find this group of people, it was such a surprise. I did not expect it to feel so warm and supportive. And then we did your master class. You did your master class, and everything felt like, okay, yes, this is what I need to hear right now. These things sound like they're going to help. And yeah,
And then I offered you to stay with me, didn't I? And you said yes, you and some others. That's the point though, right? It's easy to show up in the moment, kind of be there and feel good, but we have to have the courage to invest in ourselves. Not just money, but yes, money helps. That's another snippet that's coming soon. But also time and effort with others because it's different when suddenly you have an accountability group.
mhm.
Different than reading a book or listening to a show or listening to YouTube. You've got an accountability group. What's that been like for you being in that accountability group? What is the group like? Tell me about your experience, please.
It was so helpful. I did not expect it to be, which I want everyone to hear this, because when you invited me to stay, I told you I feel it's not like you say also in the program, like I wake up one morning and I'm like, I'm ready now.
Yeah.
Today feels like the day where I'm going to stop drinking and start doing something to make that happen. It's not like that. I was still skeptical, and it was a leap of faith. I said to you, I don't, is this going to work if even if I'm not sure that it will? And you
Right.
said, just yes, it will. Yes. And so, and it was true. And I think a lot of people will feel like, well, I'm not ready. Uh,
Yeah.
but then
Ellen,
going into the Mel Robbins, the book, what's
let
her,
them.
Let Them, she said something that was, I think, kind of also speaks to this, which she said, a lot of times the right decision feels wrong.
Right.
And I think it's because we're so used to doing things in a predictable way that feels like our comfort zone, that when
Yes.
we are ready to make a decision, even if it's right, just because it's different, it's going to feel scary. And that gives us this signal that it's like, no, don't do it. It's wrong. It's wrong. But that's kind of where I was at. It was scary, but I signed up. And the 8-week perspectives program was really helpful. There are so many tools in there, that so many things that I remind myself of on a daily basis, that I'm sure it's probably different for everyone and people find different things that help them. But there were a lot of things that were very helpful. And just the act of making that commitment and
Yeah.
taking that time and space where I would sit down and be aware, fully aware that I was doing it for myself, and it was kind of an act of self-care, already made a difference apart from the content of the workshop of the program. So
Wow. You said a lot there. You said a lot. I'm gonna go back a little bit
Mhm,
because that was so profound the way you put that. It's, I say it on the snippets, but I love the way you said that. It's like the right decision feels, of course it's gonna feel uncomfortable because you're not used, right? And yeah, it's the right thing to do, but it's not what you do. That's not what I do. I don't do that. I don't sign up for stuff. I don't join groups. I don't, or whatever it is. But the right decision, it is different because if we'd have been doing it already, we wouldn't have the problem, right?
mhm,
And that we want to keep doing what we're doing because it's comfortable, but what we're doing doesn't work. It's like, oh my God, right?
mhm.
That's, yeah. So that's amazing. Good for you. You did step outside your comfort zone. You did. And you still are. I mean, doing the snippet, it's not easy. I'm like, would you like to do a snippet? Oh my God, no. But here you are once again
Nope.
outside your comfort zone, and you're growing. Because of it, you're growing. I go on and on about this, gals. Here in Snippet Land, we got to be willing to keep growing because the only alternative is stagnation. And that's Ellie. You are doing it. I'm so proud of you. So you got to the end of the 8 weeks. Then what happened?
Well, I forgot to mention too the support of
Yeah.
the
Yes.
wonderful gals.
Talk about that.
That was the other side of it. One side was the self-care and all of the course content and all of those kind of lessons on changing our perspectives and changing our thinking about alcohol, but also having the group to lean on. I'm not the most chit-chatty person on WhatsApp, but I'm always reading everything everyone says, and it's amazing how many similarities there are. And that I think is probably one of the reasons why it feels so great is because you kind of feel like everybody understands where you're coming from and can say the right thing, and the compassion and the kindness and the creativity and the beautiful support is also another really great aspect of it. So I wanted to
Yeah.
thank you.
They are a great group of women. You all are. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So at the end of the 8 weeks, you finished the course, and then what? We're actually kind of around there right now, aren't we? What
Yeah.
happens at the end?
At the end, I think I am in a place where I am continuing to implement those things that I kind of have like a little bag of things that help me. Like the letter to myself from the future was an
Mhm.
amazing thing that it blew me away. So I have that letter on my kitchen and I look at it every day, and it makes it almost holding myself accountable by looking at it and thinking, oh, LA from a year from now is going to be disappointed if I don't make the right decisions right now. And it's interesting because I'm sure a lot of people get this. It's not just about the drinking. It's like it starts to seep into other areas of our lives where, we're able to make other decisions for ourselves just because the tools are good for other
Yes.
things. And just being one major change is that I always said I am not a morning person. And it turns out that I am a morning person and I didn't know it.
I love that. Yeah.
I am
Wow.
waking up at 7 a.m., 6:30 sometimes, and I open my eyes and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll get up now,
Amazing.
as
Yeah,
opposed
gee,
to
I
letting
wonder, could it have been the alcohol the night before? And people go, I'm not a morning person. I'm like, I don't know. Let's wait and make that decision later. That's
it
funny.
is
I love that.
such a difference. So, yeah, just continuing to lean on those things that I've learned and to feel like I think the main thing that I'm working on daily that I've gotten from 2.5 or 3 months sober is that I don't have to push down or drown or wash down those negative feelings and emotions because they're still going to be there. Not drinking doesn't solve any of or most of
No.
the things that were there making me feel stressed and anxious. They're still there. And I had just not allowed myself to feel those things.
Yeah.
So right now, it's really uncomfortable. And I don't think I've ever done it in my entire life. But every time I have one of those feelings, which I almost not even understand what they are sometimes, because I'm just so used to either drinking to dull them or getting busy, starting
Right.
something, going on a run, which is great. But Sometimes it's good to just feel them and realize that you're not going to die and that you're still safe. And I feel like that just becomes a stronger
Wow.
mechanism over time.
Yeah, you're talking about the letting go technique that I teach in the course, and I've talked about it here on the snippets. Not all women will do that because it is uncomfortable, but it is profoundly transformational. When we start feeling our emotions, we discover a few things. First of all, you're not going to die. You're not even going to have a quote unquote panic attack or anxiety attack, not if you're breathing. And so I have those meditations for that reason. These emotions want to be felt. They're like little things. They're going, Ellie, feel me. I want you to feel me. And you're like, no, I'm going to go for a run instead. No, I'm going to have a drink instead. No, I'm going to eat instead. Whatever it is, gamble, whatever. That's all of us, right? And the fact that you're willing to sit down and go, let me feel this emotion. Let me just explore, go in with curiosity and breathing. And what happens is that the emotions begin to dissipate. And then all of a sudden you look around you and you realize, yeah, it's hard to describe, but I'm so glad you brought that up. More importantly, I'm just so glad you're willing to do it because it
Yeah.
takes courage, but that's where the real change happens. It changed my life. Learning
Mhm.
to do that with my own fears, my own scary emotions changed my life.
Yes, and I think I don't like to use that word, but the better we get at it, the stronger we get, the easier it is to just not even want to have a drink to dull anything down
Yeah.
because that's really where that urge and that craving was coming from.
Numbing.
So, numbing, yes. So if I'm able to not need to do that, then that's going to be the best long-term strategy.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. If you don't need to numb and you know how to face your emotions. And not only that, but they actually start going away. They're like, thank you for feeling me. I don't need to bother you now. You know?
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly, and then I feel slightly proud of myself, which is good. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey, look what I did."
Yeah. You feel
I
lighter.
didn't even know I could do this, so 2 months is a great chunk of time to realize that we do have all these qualities that we don't even know or believe in. They are there, and I
Yeah.
think in everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I start women out at 2 months. Most women stay longer. I know you're staying with me, and I'm very, very glad that you are. And so we can keep growing. That first year of sobriety is so important. Everybody talks about the first year. And the reason is, there's no real, I don't think it's physiological or anything, but it's because we want to go around the calendar without booze, right? What's it like at Christmas? What's it like on my birthday? What about his birthday? What about this? What about that? We need to go through all of those things on the calendar without alcohol and see that we can do it. And so that's really, in my mind, what that first year is all about. And of course, you're still in that first year and you're going to spend at least the next foreseeable future with me and the gals, and I'm honored. And I'm so, so happy you were willing to come. I know this was out of your comfort zone to come into Snippet Land here and share. Before I let you go, Ellie, for anyone who's trying to decide, should I get some help? What should I do? What would you say to that girl?
I would say only good things can come from it. It's scary and it can feel like it's outside your comfort zone, but once you're in there, it's going to be very beneficial and you will find strength in others. And that's something that probably a lot of people don't realize how important it is because we live in a culture that really emphasizes how we are also self sufficient.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big believer of that. I think that we can definitely lean on other people, especially people that have had similar struggles, and I would encourage anyone to do this because it's it's been great.
Thanks, Ellie. Not
Mhm.
to call you a horse, but we just got it straight from the horse's mouth. I love it. Thanks so much for being here, for coming into Snippet Land publicly.
You're welcome. Thank you, Becca.
There we have it, gals. Another woman whose life was changed because she was willing to be seen, willing to be seen. That's the hardest part, to step outside of our comfort zone, as Allie pointed out, and be seen and heard and recognize that you're not alone. Gals, if you haven't had your sacred mirror experience yet, then I'm here to remind you that that is the one and only way these days. you can come deeper into snippet land. What is a sacred mirror? It is so beautiful. It's not a funnel, it's not a pitch. It is a place where you can share your truth, and I'll send you back a sacred reflection, a short personal note I record just for you. And if you've ever wanted to truly be seen, not just sober, but understood, this is it. And because I know how vulnerable that step can be, I recorded a private, unpublished episode just for women who say yes to the sacred mirror. It's called This Is Just Between Us. You won't find it on the podcast feed. It's only for those brave enough to be seen. Step up, do your sacred mirror today. It is a couple of questions you answer for me, and I send you back a private reflection. The link's in the show notes. Remember, I read every word and I respond from the heart. I would love to meet you there. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.